Hey everybody, sorry for the impromptu absence. Basically life. What you gonna do? I still plan on doing a Judas Contract review when I get a hold of it, but for now, we are stuck with the wonderful sequel to my personal favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie ever, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. No little slogan, no Return of the Guardians, no Rise of the Guardians. Good movie, by the way. No Guardians Strike Back, just Volume 2. And that's actually what this feels like. And Marvel's grand plan to basically get everything set up for the Infinity Wars, well, two-parter, this seems completely separate from it. And once again, it's really nice just to, get away from all the Infinity Stones, all of the grandiose arcs, having to deal with 18 different heroes all at the same time, and trying to make every one of them seem important. In this case, the movie does a very good job of keeping our focus on the main characters. Some get slightly more than others, but let's be honest here. We got enough with Gamora and her sister Nebula, so that's covered. Quill and his dad. Sorry for the slight spoiler, but if you've seen the movie, you know. Well, not movie. If you've seen the trailer, you kind of know what's coming. And Drax has some good, mingling with Mantis, and Yondu actually has a bigger role than, that the trailers let on. And his stuff kind of leads to my one issue with the movie. I like to point out that this is a good movie, and I highly recommend it. But this movie has a tone problem. And what I mean by that is, this is simultaneously one of the more lighthearted, funnier Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and consequently the darkest one. I'm not even joking. The body count in this rivals most horror movies. Also, I can think of, multiply the body count of John Wick 1 and 2 and throw a 0 at the end of it, and that's the level of just shock and awe you're going to get. And yes, if you see the camera shaking, that's not because of the car or the way it's positioned. That's the wind outside causing a slight hurricane to literally move my car. I guess the universe really is kind of feeling about the movie as well. But yes, there's a scene in this movie that I could never detach from because it's kind of something I wasn't expecting in a Marvel movie, let alone Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, in the first movie, yeah, we got a dude get his head smashed in by Ronan, but that's basically about it. And some people disevaporate because of I don't know what gem that one is. I still think it is the time gem, just because of the way everything decays and erodes around it. Which this movie actually does kind of lead to my theory on that one. And yes, I know I could look it up, but I like to play my own little guessing game and see if I get it right. And I was right about the soul gem, so hopefully everything keeps going. But yes, so there's a scene in this that just makes you want to... because it's so over the top and you just go, I don't think this is a movie for kids. And that's kind of the problem with this movie. There was a lot of sly adult humor and a lot of just over the top violence and death. And kind of depicted in a horrific sense, yet realistic. I mean, you shoot someone into space, that's kind of what happens. Except you don't really freeze, you boil from the lack of pressure, but that's nitpicking. And I don't want to nitpick that scene because I'm going to try to forget it. But after the darkest scene I have seen in a comic book movie in a long time, Rock is cracking jokes about a dude named Taserhead. Taserhead. Just, that's the joke. Right after seeing some horrific stuff, that is the joke. Yeah. But besides the morbid dark humor for that little segment there, the rest of the movie is actually, like I said, fairly lighthearted. And actually has a bit of good chemistry between all of the actors and actresses. They share their roles, they do their little arcs, and some you you can see coming from basically the get-go. But it's one of the arcs that you just enjoy seeing. You don't need to re-see the Iron Man arc for the 8th time. No offense to Doctor Strange, while I enjoy it, it basically was Iron Man with magic. And a very cool fake-out ending. Well, fake-out twist how to defeat the villain for the ending. Didn't see that coming. But this movie, I could probably tell exactly what was going to happen about halfway through it. I mean, if you've seen one of these movies, you've seen them all. In the sense that they don't really take too much of a twist with the way things go, and just the way the pacing setup kind of makes you wonder how things are going to act. And it does drag a bit, specifically whenever we deal with Groot. Where the first movie let Rocket and Groot be who they are, and because of that, it felt more likable, and the fact that we love those characters and they were able to, be naturally good characters. This one kind of revels in the Rocket is a snide smartass, so we're going to make him a snide smartass 24/7, and Groot is dumb. Dumb baby. Yeah. Kind of sucks away the fun of it. Like I said, that's nitpicking thereof, but if you really enjoy the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it's going to be tough to detach yourself from your love for the first one, which was just, no one expected it. This ragtag group of actors and heroes come together in a very good story. One we've seen, but at the same time portrayed in a way that we enjoy. And this one does the same way. It's the, deadbeat dad story, just brought with the Marvel flair, as it would be. And for once, I'm happy that it's not going to end with the giant beam shooting into the sky, destroying all of the world as we know it. Or planet, or whatever you prefer, because I am getting really sick and tired of that cliche. Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm just glad Power Rangers didn't do it. But the Guardians of the Galaxy still holds up very well, and Volume 2 is definitely one to see. I just wouldn't recommend kind of doing them back to back, because then the flaws in the second one will really stand out. And of course, well, if you're sticking around for this part, you're going to get into a little bit of spoilers here. Not too much, because even I don't know what half these cameos and purposes are. I'm a DC fan, not a Marvel fan. Well, I like some of the Marvel stuff. Deadpool's always amazing. But these are like some obscure ones even I don't know about. Like Howard the Duck. Yeah, you see that one coming because he was in the last movie. But I don't know who half of these guys are. And there's a couple of end credit scenes. And I do use the word scenes because they're there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Back to credits. Goes long for a bit, enjoy the song, and then cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Rinse and repeat. But I just want to say, I called it. I called that Stan Lee was with the Watchers. If you don't know who they are, basically the guys who watch people all day. That's literally it. Their sole purpose is to watch everything that happens. And that explains why Stan Lee is in every single Marvel movie, and why he's always there in the action when you don't expect it. He's watching and reporting. Called it. But it's always nice to see him back in a movie, and it's good to see he's still got the spirits, and hopefully he'll stick around long enough to see the end of the cinematic universe, which reportedly is going to end with Infinity Wars Part 2. So, another great tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and another really good sequel to a stand-up great movie. The sequel seemed to be back in full swing and doing a really good job. Next up on their docket is Thor Ragnarok, which, if they were going to try to tie in the Guardians of the Galaxy to the Avengers, that would be their best chance, especially if you've seen the trailer. But no, the next comic book movie is DC's basically last stand, because if this fails, they're kind of hosed. Wonder Woman is basically their last, line in the sand. Say what you will, Man of Steel was not that great. Neither was Batman v Superman. And Suicide Squad was good by comparison. So if Wonder Woman doesn't pull in what they should and make a really good movie, Justice League is going to flop. Maybe not flop in the sense that it's not going to make money, but I mean flop in the sense that, Marvel movies basically make bang for their buck almost every single time. Heck, Guardians of the Galaxy for the point of it. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we go away far from space next week with the King Arthur movie. And from what I've heard, it's not that good. Still, I can't imagine it's going to be worse than Michael Bay's King Arthur movie he's trying to portray with that new, horrible-looking Transformers movie. Which, yes, I actually did have a bunch of people boo when they saw that trailer in my movie theater, so a little bit of fun out of that. So, once again, I'm glad to be back, guys, and as summer rolls around, I plan on trying to do something a bit different. So, see you then. Until then, see you guys next week. Once again, glad to be back, and have a good night.